This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. With me is the Juggernaut, the main man himself, and Mr. Sam Jones, and a morally.
One amorally of Chiselhurst.
Yeah, catching some rays on a rooftop here. Rooftop
Shane
bus.
Watson is banging trouble catching rays. Bang
in a bad way.
trouble.
In a bad way.
He needs a factor 60.
Urgent factor 60. In fact, Sudocreme.
Joe, let me come to you first. Why Carlos Takam?
Because he's a good fighter and I want good fights, and I consider myself a great fighter and I want to get to the world title. So he's on the way. It's a shame about Usyk not being able to fight him, but the journey continues, and yeah, I'm going to get my shot sooner or later. So let's just beat up Takam and get on with it and get some better fights.
Of course, we were all expecting Tyson and AJ to square off, which would allow you to face Alexander Usyk. But did you have it in the back of your mind that something could go wrong with that, and Usyk possibly wasn't going to happen for you?
Yeah, I wasn't 100%, and it was just, you know, obviously Wilder come out of the woodwork and then messed everything up. So here we are, but it all adds to the story.
Yeah, Sam, obviously it is disappointing that Joe doesn't get his shot straight off the bat, but I suppose an arbitration case is an arbitration case. We can't help that, and Joe carries on with his career.
Yeah, 100%. You can't cry over spilt milk, can you? And Joe knows after, I know he's only had a short career, but he knows that what happens in boxing, that everybody wanted to see. I think we all wanted to see the fight. As a fan, we wanted to see AJ Fury square off, but we're not going to get that. And Joe's career has been held up for about 6 months now. He couldn't capitalise on the biggest win of his career, but now we're going to do so. And Joe was given we presented Joe with a few names, and Joe just picked the hardest name given to him, and that was Takam on the list. And that just shows what kind of guy he is. He doesn't need to fight him, but he's chosen the hardest test possible, because that's just how he is, and that's how he's been from day one since he's turned professional.
Could you possibly state the other names that were on the list?
No.
Right, cheers, Sam.
Fujimoto, or Fujimoto, or Takam.
Okay. Takam got the nod. Yeah, there was.
Look at these guys here.
Come on, Sam.
You can't resist that.
Yeah.
Joe, there was a potential situation where Joshua could have vacated, which obviously would have allowed you to fight Alexander Usyk, but obviously
that fight's not done yet. That fight's not even done yet.
Hang on, what are you talking about?
He said he could have vacated. He could still vacate.
Well, yeah.
Okay, but from what I've heard, personal terms have been agreed for that fight.
But we've heard personal terms have been agreed for AJ Fury 7,000 times, so who knows? We never know, do you? So he's in a great position regardless.
True. What do you think Carlos Takam brings on July 24th?
He brings strength, speed, experience as well. He's a very experienced guy. He's strong, and comes to fight. So it's going to be an all-action fight.
Always in good shape as well.
Big height difference. There's massive height difference to be fair.
You see, he's got muscles growing off his armpits, and Takam. He's always in shape, so he's ready. He's ready to go. And I think the style that Takam has and the style that Joe has. I mean, if Takam comes to try and fight Joe, he's going to get knocked out in 3 rounds. If he doesn't, he tries to box him, tries to scurry around the ring a little bit. It could take a little bit longer, but I think both of their styles will gel, and it'll be a great fight to watch.
Okay. What's going on there? Are we going to start like bantering with some people this time?
No, not really.
Adam, he's a bit disappointing today, isn't he, Sam?
I'm not being funny, right? I was told, right, I was going to have a megaphone. I was told I was going to have a megaphone. They didn't. They've not delivered.
We have got a megaphone in. We have got a megaphone.
Why are you wearing a mask outside?
The workman's got something to say, Sam.
No, they've got earmuffs on.
Adam, I'll quickly come to you as well. There was a few kind of posts going up, etc. I've seen about potential Hrgovic fight as well with the IBF. Just talk to me about that situation, please, Adam.
I think the IBF wrote to a number of people in the top 10 asking who'd fight Hrgovic in a final eliminator. One of those was Ruiz, one of those was Joe. Obviously we're in the WBO, so we can't be taking a final eliminator with the IBF. Once Joshua Usyk happens, if it happens, Joe is #1 in the WBO. He is the mandatory, and we'll be pushing hard for Joe to get his world title shot. That's the clearest path for Joe. So yeah, as Sam says, Joshua Usyk may happen, may not happen. I think it will happen. Once that's finished, Joe's the mandatory. Hopefully we'll then have undisputed, and and after that, 2022, Joe should get his shot. You know, there's been a lot of people saying, oh, it's going to be a year, 2 years, 3 years for the next mandatory shot. It's not true. The WBO have waited 12, 24 months to call this mandatory. The next one we can get on much, much quicker. So we'll be pushing really hard for Joe to get his shot in 2022.
Joe, all going well on the 24th against Carlos Takam. Who do you think you'll be mandatory for? Joshua or Alexander Usyk? Tell me how that goes.
Well, yeah, why are you asking me that? Why are you asking one of these? No, joking. Yeah, WBO, yeah, it's definitely the best chance. But
I think what Umar was trying to
No,
say.
what I'm saying is what happens in that fight.
Who's going to win Usyk out of AJ?
oh, is
That's
that what
what
you're
I'm
saying? Why
asking
did you just ask me that then? Come
Come
on, Umar.
Complicating the question. Just say, who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, I think, yeah, Usyk's trying to, like, you know, steal it, move his feet around, but then once he gets caught with a couple of shots from Joshua, then I don't think he's going to last.
You fancy Anthony Joshua in that one,
Yeah,
You fancy?
unless Usyk can like avoid him for 12 rounds
Well, then
and like nick it, but
would you rather fight Anthony Joshua
what then? Who?
than Alexander Usyk? What would you rather prefer?
Yeah, I prefer to fight Andy Joshua. You know, I want to fight. I want to be the best in the world. So, you know, you got to fight the best to be the best. And yeah, man, he's got most of the belts.
Well, listen, on that note, Sam, been a letdown with the megaphone situation.
Not my fault, though,
No,
is it? I was
well,
promised a
let's
megaphone. It wasn't
The
delivered.
megaphone just doesn't work.
Let's blame Darren Hanley, yeah.
Yeah. Darren Hanley, he had one job to give me a mask. Excuse me, miss, why are you wearing a mask outside? It's a beautiful day today. You can breathe. Feel the air. Feel that London pollution.
Do you know what? It's probably a good job he ain't got a megaphone.
Oh, he's so good.
Here is another one, look. Excuse me, sir, remember to put some sun cream on that dome. We will burn. It is a very hot day today. Do you know who this is? This is Joyce. He's going to face Carlos Takam on the 24th of July. Make sure you're there. Get your tickets soon. Why are you looking at me like that, sir? Smile. Yes.
Okay, Sam Jones, Joyce, Adam Morley, enjoy the rest of your day on this bus, and I'm sure we'll talk soon, alright?
Alright.